Here.
David? Matthew?
Yep.
Angela? Here. Coralie? Tyler? Jeff? And Pat and myself, so we're all here. I'd like us to pause to seek guidance, please. Okay, the next is the agenda. Is there any additions or deletions? Hearing none then, would someone like to approve the agenda as presented?
I'll motion to approve the agenda.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The minutes of December 14th, 2021, is there any errors or omissions anyone sees or saw?
I move approval of that as presented.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. Unfinished business from the minutes of December the 14th. Did anyone have anything they wanted to bring forward on those minutes? Okay. The CAO report, the meeting dates. Remember next week is TIR and then bylaw and policy. The 25th is council. The 1st is bylaw and policy. The 8th is committee of the whole. The 15th there's no meeting, and the 22nd council again. Anyone have any concerns with those dates? Okay. CAO update. The updates have been all highlighted. I love the highlights. Is there any concerns, questions that you wanted to ask both of them? I do want to make a comment, Jeff. I was telling the Lung Association in Halifax how we're running the office, and they thought it's such a good idea that they're going to run in 2 teams as well.
Making the world a better place. Good
Well,
job, Jeff.
well, what they were all doing is, you know, they were having, but when I was saying that what we did, and I said I can't tell you exactly, but they're in for so long each day, but one team never sees the other team and the other team doesn't, you know. They thought it was a great idea, so I just wanted to comment. Sometimes things that we're doing, because I said we don't want everyone to get down sick at once if something happens.
Yes.
Angela's got her hand up on that.
I'm sorry,
I just
Angela.
had one question for Jeff about the
Yeah.
rural internet. The comment there about Nova Scotia Power.
So we did have, I think, my previous report in December, I talked about that we had heard from the internet service providers about some of the challenges, especially crossing waterways and highways because of the shared infrastructure. So we did have a follow-up call with Nova Scotia Power to explain kind of their perspective and some not repairs, but things they're doing for their internal system, because this is happening all across the province. This is one of those, like, would you call it a log jam, or like everyone across the province is having these. It happened. Bear River was actually one of the first ones that was slowed down way back when they did that with some of those water crossings. So they've learned now, and the internet service providers have learned that's the first thing they look for in a project, right? Are we crossing a highway or a river that meets this threshold? And they've learned to get it in early. Nova Scotia Power has learned to kind of how to prioritize those. They've changed some of the staffing around. So it's working smoother, and everybody is talking. And we've asked the internet service providers to keep in touch with us if there is any issues. But I think everyone's feeling better about it for now. I think, to be honest, until spring gets here and we hear the stories. But I think we also established contacts with all the groups that if we do hear of a problem, now we have kind of a path through Nova Scotia Power on how to bring it to there. One of the municipalities, I think Barrie, had an actual issue with a crossing that they were able to bring up. And yeah, crossing that, I don't think right now we don't have any issues. Crossing the 101, we've heard, is a major challenge. If you've got a crossing in the 100 series highways, just again with the engineering and that side of things that just can slow things down.
Yep.
Thanks.
It's really scary, isn't it?
have they given you an update, like, for springtime? Is there, you know, when they first started rolling out, you could tell because of the cable trucks, you know, that kind of thing?
We have asked both the two providers in our area and Develop for updated timelines. So, I mean, they're all supposed to be working on it. Is all I can say.
I wouldn't see anything like.
Yeah, and we weren't
right
looking for
now.
details. We just said, we'd like to know, are you going to work from Weymouth to Smiths Cove or from Smiths Cove to Weymouth? We don't need to know like day by day, but just give us a rough idea and to narrow down, are you trying to get this done before next winter? Or like that 2023, people don't like that, right?
No.
That could be way out in 2023, or does that mean we're
on
done
to
by
2020
December,
or
right?
2022, right? So, I mean,
So, we are trying to get clarification from them.
yeah. Good.
Any other questions?
Good answer, Jeff.
Pardon me?
No, Jeff knowing his stuff.
Oh,
He
yes.
says, I sure don't. So it's like to know there's someone I can ask about these things.
Okay, and the departmental reports, is there any questions of those? I'd say everybody is busy,
Yeah.
looking at them. I did want to ask a question on Nicole's. She said there was one, or two properties they're having problems with?
Yeah,
I wasn't sure what that meant.
it was problems with the Schedule A, so it's between the legal department and Registry of Deeds. There's been some conflict between what's the proper schedule and whether even they may exist, or
Oh,
those type of things, so they actually haven't been deeded out yet.
you mean there may be a tax sale and no property?
This was the past tender sale that we did. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure when I was,
And they did have title search on them, and they came back that they were fine. So something's gone awry in the meantime between the lawyers and the Registry of Deeds.
of course.
I think we've seen a few of these, and we have one area in particular where subdivisions over the years, when they trace them back to the mapping, I accidentally pointed at David because the islands are concentrated where this is happening, where the mapping, when they converted to the mapping system, there's more problems than usual in some of the...
On paper, there's 4,000 acres. In reality, there's 3,000.
Exactly.
So whoever gets the guy with the map there to come down and check things out.
Yeah, so like you say, they eventually come to the surface, but yes, we are working through one of those.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure. Any other questions? George?
In Terry's report, he mentioned about one of the windmills being down. Do we have insurance to cover, to?
Yep, so we have two we're working through. So the municipality of Digby has insurance, and then we have our, I can't remember the initials, but the service company. We have a contract with the service company to keep it up, and there's parts and certain things that are covered through that. So we are working.
We have a term agreement with them. Right?
Yes,
because
it's
we were
agreement with
negotiating it.
on some of the parts and supply. So it's
So is that only on parts, it's not on revenue or anything, right? It's not working.
it hasn't been down long enough yet. Terry's actually was chasing updates today on this part to see if we're going to trigger that, George. It hasn't been down long enough yet, but that's what he's following. Because winter, like we don't produce. I think I've talked to you guys before. We don't produce the same amount of wind 12 months a year. We're into windy
Power
season.
Yeah, money making.
So he is following that, and where we've had claims in before on that. And that's also the incentive for the company to repair it quicker as well.
Oh, okay.
I missed that.
Any other questions on the departmental reports? Like I said, it was a lot of reports.
Yeah.
Next, under dangers on unsightly premises, there is nothing.
Yay.
Business items, 1792 project.
I find that interesting because I just read about that a little while ago, and then this came along. The Wesleyans, they all left Digby County and went to Sierra Leone. There are a lot of them here. Quite interesting, and there's still to this day a very large
I
Wesleyan
thought we didn't do proclamation.
We don't,
thing in Sierra Leone. That's because we don't want to
but we usually send a letter or something stating that, you know, we think it's a good thing, but we do not do proclamations. So I would need a
Motion for that,
Yeah.
could we send a letter to,
1792.
1792 project, explaining that it's a good project, but we do not do proclamations.
Second time.
Can we say something can we make an announcement of support or something that's not a proclamation? I think it's sort of a ridiculous.
And we can ask in the letter if there's anything we can do
Yes.
to show support now.
Like an
in the future.
announcement or like as we put up lights and we've done things like that before. It's supported through social media. Maybe say something like that.
Okay. Because they're even willing to do a presentation, I assume.
I'd be interested to see that presentation actually, just historically, but don't want to put the rest of you through it.
Well.
It would be interesting though.
How do people?
I'll second it.
Which she already said, I think Angela already said.
Oh, did she? Okay.
So, all right, we'll go back to this in a minute. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. How do people feel about getting them by Zoom, having a presentation?
I think it's super interesting. And I think it's pertinent now because of the land. There's to this day all kinds of land issues. Black folk were given, the Loyalists were given land, but so they pay taxes on land, but they can't mortgage it. They don't actually have. It's still ongoing to this day. They never did clear it up. They made a try in like 1950, and they passed some legislation, and they didn't put 1 cent into it, so it never ever did. It'd be interesting to say, yeah, I'd be behind that.
Okay, so.
Yep.
We don't need a motion? Okay, thank you. The next is a letter of support, Electric City. They are going for a grant. They want to do a festival during it. They've asked me to come down, and I'm going to go down on the week of January 17th. I've already got the booking, and it's at 1 o'clock in the day on this. And I explained to them that, I had to get a letter of support approved by council. I think it's a good thing, but how did you guys feel when you read the letter?
I'm a big supporter of Electric City. I feel like it's one of the big jewels that are overlooked in Digby County. I'm a big supporter, yes.
I would make a motion to send a letter of support to the Electric City.
I'll second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded?
Plus, it could go into a festival thing, yearly.
Well, that's what they're hoping.
Yeah.
That is what,
It could
that
go
is,
into something quite.
and they want to do it in the fall, again, shoulder season.
And the Islanders call back there free kedgie. That's what we call it. So where are you going? Free kedgie. Back to Weymouth, man. We all head up back there. Almost a lot of us.
They get barbecues back there now.
Oh, we love it.
Lots of good rounds. Spent it in
He's like, the hustle bustle, Westport. I gotta go to Electric City.
doors quiet.
There is no correspondence or any other information items, so I would like to move, we have 2 things to go on camera for, contractual and personnel. So I would like someone to move to go in camera, please.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.